Hi, I'm Chris, and today we're going to talk about some of the tools and safety gear you might need when operating your chainsaw. Let's do this real quick. If I'm just going out in the woods and I'm just planning on cutting a few things down, this is generally what I carry. If I'm planning on chopping the stuff up the same day in the same location, I'm going to carry a few extra things. Let's go over a few things here. I like to carry 2 chainsaws with me. Now, it's not like this is a professional chainsaw or anything, but it's definitely served me well over the past 13 years. I haven't even had to replace the bar or chain yet. I'm definitely going to carry some sort of gas can with the correct mixture for my chainsaws, some extra 2-cycle engine oil, which obviously you use to mix up for your gas for the chainsaws, and enough bar and chain oil. I don't want to run out of that. Although I think if you do run out, you could use 30 weight oil. I like to keep everything in a crate. I'm not even sure where I found this crate. It was a nice orange crate, and I said, you know what, it's going right with my chainsaw stuff. It's nice and easy to spot, and I have all my chainsaw gear in here. And a few other things just for clearing the brush or, in the area that I'm working in, especially if I'm felling a tree or something like that. So let's dig into this and find out exactly what's in here. When I'm going out in the woods to collect firewood, or even just to cut a few trees down, this is generally what I carry in my chainsaw kit. First and foremost, you definitely want to have a pair of chainsaw pants. This could save your life, or at the very least save your leg. Now, these things are usually made with Kevlar, and what they do is if the chainsaw chain hits this, it's going to take the Kevlar fibers and bind up in the chainsaw to actually stop the chain. Otherwise, if that chainsaw hits your leg, it's going right through it. Try to have some sort of hard hat with you. I wear glasses, so I have this so that I can't really wear the other kind of screen goggles that they have just because I wear glasses. These earmuffs don't really hold tight anymore. So I'll generally have a pair of earplugs on me. If it's not those little foam earplugs, it's going to be the earplugs I generally use for shooting. And these things are pretty comfortable and they work quite well. I always have an extra pair of gloves in my kit. When my gloves get worn down, they tend to go into other kits. Plus I always have a fresher pair of gloves with me. This way I always have something to protect my hands. I like to carry a lot of water with me, and if I don't have water sitting on the side somewhere, I like to carry water on my person. And generally speaking, this thing, some people might like metal canteens. I like this little plastic one. It's 1.1 liters in it. It's quite big, and it works quite well, even if you're just going out hiking with the family for the day or something like that. This thing is nice. It's wide mouth and everything. And I think it was only a couple bucks actually. But I generally carry that with me. And then on my person, around my belt and stuff, I'll carry a Leatherman with me. It's usually my Leatherman Wave. Almost always have that on me. And then around my belt loop, I like to go ahead and just throw this in there. Like I said, you easily loop that around your belt loop and then it sits in the bottom of your pocket and you're not going to lose it. This way you have something, a backup cutting tool. And then I like to carry some sort of fire starter. This, again, just goes right around your belt. It's got some extra paracord, and this is a lighter. This actually has an O-ring seal, and it's kind of like a Zippo lighter. So it lasts for quite some time. I mean, it's been probably 8 months since I've even refueled this thing or even used it, and that O-ring seal really keeps everything in there. Try to carry some sort of flashlight with me. And then my Paracord belt that I made. This is one of those fast deploy ones you can easily make. And I think there's maybe about 75 feet of paracord or so. Might be even more if your waist is a little bit bigger. Now I try to have some sort of improvised belt with me for all the various tools, whether I'm clearing out an area or I'm felling down a tree. So this is kind of a combination of everything that I might have. And we'll just kind of start with, you definitely want some sort of wedges, even if it's a cheap kind of wedges. This is going to prevent your saw from, binding up in a piece of wood. Definitely, or if you're felling a tree, you might want something a little bit larger to help make that tree fall over. These pruning shears actually just came with the one saw that I have. I might use this to trim up some things around my safe area or my escape route if I'm felling a tree. It's a lot easier using something like that rather than a hatchet or even the chainsaw. I don't want to actually hit the chainsaw in the dirt. I'll carry something like this, just again, for clearing brush around the area I need to have nice and clear so I don't trip or anything like that when I'm fell in a tree and I need to get out of the way. I like to carry my little cutting hatchet with me when I'm doing stuff like that, when I'm clearing the area. And then I'll also carry a couple more hatchets with me. And then maybe something that might split wood just a little bit better rather than cut. And again, these all fit right inside here. And this is actually just an old pouch that you would put your screw gun in around your work belt. But it works nice for this. And then some people may not like this, but I keep this on me. It's just one of those little handheld chainsaw blades. I like it for the fact that if I needed to limb a tree way up high, just before I was going to fell a tree, if I wanted to get that limb out of the way because it looked like it might fall on me as I'm cutting the tree down, you got to be aware of that stuff. I can throw a rope up around it, attach the rope to this, and then just saw that right down if I couldn't climb up in that tree to do it. I try to carry some sort of tools with me. I might have a little bit more tools in my vehicle, but generally speaking, in the field, this is just pretty basic, and I might add a few more things as more problems happen with the chainsaw or something like that. I generally try to have some clean rags in here, just for cleaning out the chainsaw, especially if it's a long day of work, and you're going to want something like this so you can get all the sawdust and oil out of the chainsaw when you're resharpening your blade or something like that. Some sort of cordage. This is like $1. It was 50 feet. It's rot and mildew resistant. This would be something that I would use to throw up in the tree to use in combination with that little handheld chainsaw. Some sort of fire kit. This is just pretty basic. Might have some extra tinder in here. Got a little fire starter in here, and then have an emergency blanket in here. I mean, this is all on top of the fact that in my vehicle I generally have a kit to begin with. I like to carry straps, some sort of lifting straps. You never know what might happen or what you might need to move to make things in your work area a little bit safer. So I'll have some straps with me. This is just stuff I've acquired along the way. Some old straps that go into a kit like this. I'll carry a cheap set of files with me, and then on my belt I'll carry the one file that I need for that particular chainsaw. Generally in this old knife sheath, I'll carry it in here. This way if it falls out or something like that, I'm not really going to be too concerned. I can actually just put a piece of paracord around here, that way everything's a little bit more secure. I like to carry some lumber crayons with me. This way when I'm bucking a tree, I can cut it down into lengths that I need for my wood burning stove. And generally speaking, this is about 16 inches long. I could just go ahead, lay this right on top of the tree, make my marks where I need to buck the log up and keep going down the line, making my marks where I need to buck it. And that way it gives me nice even wood that I'm going to have for when I go to split the wood and everything like that and burn it. Try to carry extra spark plug for the chainsaws. Keep your bar tools handy. I don't like losing these things. I lost one once, and then I happened to luck out to find one at a garage sale and said, you know what, for like 25 cents, I'm taking that thing. I like to keep my field sharpening kit with me. This was just an inexpensive kit, I think maybe 15-20 bucks, if even that. It's got everything you need to go ahead and sharpen everything. The only thing I don't have is a stump vise. What you can generally do is just make your own improvised stump vise out of a stump in the field, and it works pretty well. Might invest in a stump vise later on, but I'm generally working pretty close to my house or barn. And then just a few tools that I usually use all the time. Sounds strange, but for the one saw, the gas cap is usually on there pretty tight, so I end up using a wrench to get that off. Maybe a couple extra screwdrivers or something like that to adjust the idle speed and all that. I generally have a piece of emery paper in almost all my toolkits. It comes in handy when you want to file down some burrs or something like that. But again, with the Leatherman Wave, there's a file on that anyways, and then in the field sharpening kit, you got another flat file. I like to carry something like this with me. If it's not a small screwdriver, this fits right down in the groove inside the bar there where the drive teeth are actually going to run, and you can clean all the gook and junk out of there very easily with something like this. I think this was it looks like some sort of old knife where the tip broke off, but it serves the purpose quite well. And then I'll just keep a little basic set of wrenches just in case of anything, and then a little screwdriver. This set of wrenches my dad used to keep on him on his motorcycle, so I figured why not have a little piece of nostalgia in here. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the everyday carry chainsaw kit. Aside from the chainsaws and extra fuel, extra 2-cycle engine oil, and extra bar and chain oil. If I'm going to chop the wood up at the same time, there's a few more things and we'll go over that. One of the other things that I'm going to carry is just some extra chains, usually in a little tin or something like that, maybe with some diesel fuel in there, just so if I'm going through really sappy wood, I have extra chains with me in case I break a chain or something like that. Or two, if a chain gets dull, it's really easy to go ahead and throw another chain on versus sharpening a chain in the field. And then I almost always have a knife on me. I almost always carry this thing when I'm out in the woods, this little Mora knife. And then one of the last things that you really wouldn't think about for equipment is just a nice pair of boots. I always wear steel toe boots, but something like this, it might save it from cutting a toe off, it may not save it for cutting a foot off, but if a log falls on my foot or something like that on the toes, you know, it might just save me. I thank you guys for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more videos, definitely subscribe. It really helps me out. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. If you guys found this video helpful in any way, please leave a comment below. Thank you guys so much.